Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Give me a thumbs up, good. Thumbs down, not so good. Thumbs sideways for I wish I was still in bed because it's 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking scheduling this class at this time. You'll notice the schedule downstairs on the digital board says our class goes from 8:10 to 9:40. That's not true. Our class goes till 9:25. Okay. So if I could get somebody to kind of give me a 5 minute or a 10 minute warning when we have classes ending, because in my mind I'm still stuck on 9:40, but 9:25 is our end time. My name is Mr. Uminski. I have been teaching here at St. Philip's College now for 9 years. I was a student here. I did culinary arts in 2000 when I graduated from Judson High School. In my basic skills class, I chopped the tip of my thumb off when I was dicing an onion. How many of you have not taken basic skills yet or basic food prep and you're in it right now? Anybody? Awesome. That's good. So you've all have taken basic food prep. Cool. So when the chefs tell you to use the eagle claw, they really mean it because that's what I did. I was like, I can get one more slice out of this onion, went right through my nail to drive myself to the emergency room. And then I zested my middle finger when I was zesting a lemon. And so I thought me and sharp objects were not going to get along. The rule was when chef left the room, David put all sharp objects down because every time he came back, I was bleeding. And so after a year of culinary arts, I realized that I didn't want to be in the kitchen to cook for a job. I just wanted to know how to cook so I can throw amazing dinner parties and impress my friends. And so I kind of switched my major from the back of the house to the front of the house. And so all through high school, worked at a place called Chester's Hamburgers. That was my high school job. Worked there for about a year after high school. Then I got a job at TGI Fridays. After TGI Fridays, I was on the opening team there. I went to the Cheesecake Factory. I was on the opening team of Cheesecake Factory at North Star Mall 22 years ago. It's hard to believe that that's been there for 22 years. But at 19 years old, I thought that my career was done. Like I was at the Cheesecake Factory. I had nowhere else to go. I was at the top. Thankfully, that wasn't true. Thankfully, my career has progressed beyond that. But I was a server at Cheesecake Factory and I worked in the bakery as well as a cashier. Other job related things that I have done that apply to this particular class, food and beverage cost control. I worked for a camp called the Acadia Institute of Oceanography. It's a small camp up in Maine, up near Acadia National Park. And I lived there for 7 summers. I basically prepared breakfast and dinner for 50 to 60 people a day. And so I did that in 2007, 8, 9 when I was a student here getting my degree in hotel management. And then I went back in 2015 when I got this job teaching. I then had my summers free again. So I called up and said, hey, I want to be in Maine. And so I went back up to Maine and was there from 2015, 16, 17, 18. Because of the lessons that I learned in this class as a student, when I went up to Maine in 2015, the cook in 2014 went $3,000 over budget on her food budget. When I went in 2015, I came $3,000 under budget. So essentially, by applying the things that I've learned in this class as a student and the things that I teach in this class, I saved my boss $6,000 from one year to the next. Okay. And it's knowing things like how to reuse food, not throwing things away, how to make things from scratch instead of buying things already prepared. And so these are things that you will learn, whether it doesn't matter. Hey, grab each one of those. Doesn't matter if you are culinary, hotel, hospitality, restaurant, or baking and pastry arts. You can utilize the things that we teach in this class throughout the semester in your career, in your whatever you're going to do to be successful. I had a student who came back and was a guest speaker. He worked for Panda Express, and he moved from an AGM to a GM within a year. And because he used things that he learned in this class and implemented, gave him a $10,000 bonus at the end of the year because he kept his food costs under control. Okay, so the things we learn in this class can translate to directly to money. There you go. All right, anybody feeling like this? Yes, no, maybe so. How many of y'all, this is your first semester at St. Philip's College? Excellent, welcome. How many of y'all, this is your second semester at St. Philip's College? Okay, good, excellent. How many of you have put this class off to your last semester because it has to do with anybody? No? Okay, good. I'm glad. All right. So what I like to do, how do y'all deal with stress? Anybody? Sleep? Okay, absolutely. But not in excess, because if you sleep in excess, it just leads to more stress because what you have to get done that you're ignoring because you're taking a nap still has to get done. Yeah, what else? Music. Okay, good. What else? Go for a walk. Absolutely. Sometimes when we're so stressed, we can't think straight. So we go for a walk, kind of let go of some of that. Maybe even as you're walking, you're also thinking about what you need to do. I personally like to make to-do lists. If I don't have a to-do list, I notice that the days that I do not have a to-do list are the days that I don't get much accomplished because I'm just kind of going from one thing to the next. Whereas if I have a to-do list written down, it is so satisfying to scratch something off of a list or put a check mark next to it to know that it's done. But it also helps me organize my thoughts and figure out what I needed to get done first. Anybody else? Is this anybody's first semester in college, period? Awesome. Excellent. Very cool. All right, so we're going to do a quick just activity just to kind of get to know each other a little bit better. I am going to be taking attendance on my phone. So a couple of things about the recording that I mentioned earlier. I do record all of my lectures. And then to be able to allow myself to move away from the computer so I don't have to stand right here because I don't like to teach behind a computer. I do wear my headset, so the audio is much better. So I don't want you to think that if I ask you to take your earbuds out, you're like, well, Mr. Uminsky, your earbuds are in. Okay. I want you to realize that this is what I'm doing that for. So the audio quality is much better for the recordings. So do we want to just go in an orderly fashion or do you want to take volunteers? How do we want to do this? Let's go with an orderly fashion. And since we all sat on that side of the room, we're going to start on that side of the room. Okay. So if I want you like you to stand up, project your voice so I can hear you all the way over here. Tell us your name, what your degree is, and if you have a favorite restaurant or food. If you don't have a favorite restaurant, you can just say your favorite type of food. And then just a fun fact about you. If I'll go first, I'll give you an example. So that way you can start thinking about your fun fact. My name is Mr. Uminsky. My degree right now, I'm working on a doctorate degree of education for higher education leadership at the Grand Canyon University. And my favorite food, I think, has to be pasta. I love pasta. And then a fun fact about me, over the summer, I climbed to the top of the highest elevation point of Arizona called Mount Humphreys. And it was 11 miles, 8-hour round trip hike with about 3,500 feet of elevation gain. If you've never been at the highest point anywhere, I think it's one of the most amazing feelings that you are only looking down. There's nowhere else higher for you to go. So I actually have a goal I set back in 2019 to get to the top of all 50 states before I turn 50. So I have 8 years and I have 12 mountains left. I've done 38 states and I have 12 mountains remaining of my goal. All right. Yep, go ahead and stand up. And I'm not going to record this part. That way people, that if you go back and watch it, let me pause the recording. All right, so one reason why I like to put things like favorite food, fun facts, things like that. How many of you all learned something about a classmate today that you share a common interest with? Okay. That's what networking is. Oftentimes, networking, when you go to like a professional networking event, when you hear that professional networking, what do you think of? Sorry? A conference. Okay, absolutely. Networking does happen at a conference. What else? How many, when you hear the word networking, have no idea what I'm talking about? And that's okay if you don't. Okay, cool. So networking um, is basically kind of building your professional relationships, right? Think about social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's your social network. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, LinkedIn is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your professional network. That's where you can put information about what jobs you've had. You can put information about what professional skills you have, right? So that's your professional network. And so networking is all about how you connect with people. I would not be where I am today in the San Antonio hospitality industry without networking. Okay. Um, and so things like favorite foods, fun facts, those are things you can talk about that help solidify how you remember somebody or how you engage with that person. Oftentimes, when people are networking, this is what you normally will see. Hi, I'm David. Where do you work? That's kind of a weird question. I mean, you're in a professional setting, but that's how people are taught to network. Like you're supposed to network and figure out where do they work? How do you fit in how you work? But if you can start with some more casual stuff, right? Kind of breaks the ice a little bit. How many of you are not so comfortable talking to people that you don't know? Awesome. When I started out, I now am part of the Alamo Area Hospitality Association. AHA is our acronym. Um, when I started out my very first luncheon in 2010, I went and sat down. I checked in, got my little name badge, and I went and found a seat and sat down. Now at the luncheons, they're like, David, sit down and stop talking so we can start the program, right? And so it takes practice. And all sometimes you think about what we call the snowball effect. Who is not familiar with the snowball effect? Cool. What happens to a snowball as it rolls down a hill? It gets bigger and bigger, right? And so the same thing happens with networking. I may meet Gabriel and I know Gabriel, right? Or let's say Gabriel comes to a networking event and he doesn't know anybody, but he knows me. Well, then I can introduce him. He's like, what do you want? What kind of job do you want to have in the industry? Yeah.
Okay, I thought you.
No.
I wanna own my own place eventually. I wanna have my own business.
What type of food?
Like I said, maybe comfort.
Comfort food? Okay. Awesome. So if I know through my own networking that there's somebody in the room that has their own comfort food restaurant, I'm going to walk Gabriel over there and say, "Hey, Sally, this is Gabriel. He wants to start his own soul food or own comfort food restaurant. Why don't you guys talk about what your favorite recipes are or where your recipes come from?" Right? So that's how networking happens. But you have to kind of get out of your shell a little bit. And so I still get nervous when I walk into a room and I don't know very many people. Oh my gosh. When I walk into a room and I see somebody across the room that I know, I'm going to run to that person and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad somebody that I know. You're right. Gives that little bit of sense of security. So you can use these skills. We don't have assigned seating in this classroom. Okay. I'm gonna collect your name tents, and I'm gonna put them on this table right here when you first walk in. So you'll grab yours. That way I can quickly do attendance based on whose tents are still left on the table. Okay. But we don't have assigned seating. So if you heard somebody that Vanessa has, no, wait, who has 5 to 8 cats? You have 5 to 8 cats, right? And hold on, I saw. Let me hold on. Where's my calico cat? There we go. Right. So y'all can talk about your cats, and they can have that kind of in common and kind of start that relationship, right? And so just kind of things that you can do. The more things you can do to kind of talk to each other and kind of build that is really awesome. I still have some classmates of mine that call me to help out with event management because that's what I did before I came to teach. All right. So navigating Canvas, we're going to log in through Canvas or ACES, select your courses, and then click on the module. So let's do that right now. Okay, so we're in Canvas. Couple of things for in Canvas at the very top where it says click here to access information about Mr. Minsky's office hours. I have 2 hours of office hours every day. And in those office hours, I am literally sitting in my office waiting for students to come talk to me. Okay. So during these times let me zoom this in so you can see better. Oops, that's too big. There we go. So on Mondays, I'm in my office from 10 a.m. to noon. On Tuesdays 2 to 4, Wednesdays 10 to noon, Thursdays 2 to 4, and Fridays 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So during those 2 hours, my office door is open, unless of course I have an off-campus meeting or if I'm working with a student that needs some privacy. But otherwise, if my office door is open during those times, you can come on in and ask me any questions. Okay. It does not have to be class related. It can be, Mr. Minsky, my advisor told me I should take these classes next semester. Is that right? Or should I take other classes? Or Mr. Minsky, I really need some help with math in my baker's percentage class and my baking classes. Okay. It does not have to be related to this class. You can come in and ask me anything. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to try to find somebody that does know your answer, that knows the answer. The beautiful thing about this though is these are all Zoom links. So if you are off campus and you don't want to come to campus to meet with me in my office, you can log into Zoom wherever you are. Okay. During those times, I literally sit with my Zoom open. Okay. If for whatever reason you log in during one of those 5 times, those days, and my Zoom is not open, all you need to do is come here to the front page, call that number. It rings to my cell phone. All my office phone calls are forwarded to my cell phone. And then you're like, Ms. Uminsky, are you going to join Zoom today? It may be that I just got distracted and I forgot to hit log in. Okay. So all you have to do is just give me a call. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns about office hours? All right. The best way to navigate through this course is going to be through the modules. Please make sure that you go through the orientation module. There is a getting started quiz to make sure that I know that you've actually read through some of the information. Okay. You have 2 attempts to take that. So if you don't get 100 the first time, you can always take it again. Okay. Looking through here, I do not have our course calendar posted yet. I'm still finalizing the due dates. There's a couple of the meetings that have come up. And so I will get that posted as soon, and I'll put it in the orientation module. Also, I will get all of our due dates assigned to your assignments, okay? So that way you can easily see what is coming up. Any questions about Canvas? All right. Let's jump back in here. So our attendance, our classes are Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:10 to 9:25, okay? The district policy is that you can miss up to 2 weeks worth of classes, okay? So our class meets Monday and Wednesday. How many days can you miss? 4. If your class only meets on Tuesday, how many classes can you miss? 2, okay? So if you have lab classes that it only meets once a week, then the district policy is 2 weeks worth of classes. Okay. That is before you can be dropped from the class. I am not going to automatically drop you after your fourth absence. Okay. So what we'll have checkpoints along the way, midterms. At 8 weeks, we'll have midterms going on to give you, bless you, to give you an idea of where you stand. Okay. At St. Philip's College and the Alamo colleges, and actually, I think this is Texas colleges throughout the state. We have a grade of W which means withdraw. Okay. So if you do not feel like you are going to successfully complete this course, okay, and by that I mean a D or an F, okay, you can withdraw from the class. The issue is you only get 6 withdrawals in your entire college career. So you don't want to waste it, okay? But if you're going to get an F in a class because maybe something came up personally and you need to withdraw from a class, that's totally fine, okay? But if it ends up getting an F, that's going to impact your GPA, which then could potentially impact your financial aid. So there's a lot of different considerations to take, okay? But just keep in mind, you only get 6 withdrawals during the entire time, not 6 in one semester, 6 for the entire time that you're in college, okay? Decorum. Decorum is just a fancy word of saying a proper way to act, behave, present yourself, okay? This class, we do not have a dress code. You do not have to wear your chef uniform. You're more than welcome to if you'd like to. I think that it shows that you have pride in your program, but it's not required. As far as speech, I know that our industry is not very well known for professional language, especially if you're in the kitchen. Okay. But we're not in the kitchen. We're in the front of the house. We're in a business management. And so I'm going to ask that we limit to no swearing in this class, limit our speech to professional language. Okay. I think that's everything. Assignments, except for your getting started quiz and your project, which we'll talk about later on. Almost all of your assignments are going to be due at 8 a.m. on Mondays. Okay. How many of you have a class where all your assignments are due at 11:59 p.m.? Yeah, that's the default in Canvas. When I was in my master's program at North Texas a few years ago, working on my master's degree in hospitality, I had a professor that changed the due date till 8 a.m. in the morning. And it made me think, as a professor myself, like, I'm not up at 11:59 p.m. waiting to grade your paper. I'm going to guarantee you that. Okay. So if I'm not up waiting to grade your paper, what difference does it make if you turn it in at 4 a.m.? Because sometimes we have to stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to do homework. Okay. As a student myself, I'm the same way. All of my homework assignments are due at 1:59 a.m. So it's basically 11:59 a.m. or p.m. Arizona time on Wednesdays. And so there are some times where I am working right up until 1:58 to turn that homework assignment in. Okay. So for me, I'm not going to be up that late grading to your paper. So I adopted a policy where essentially the first day that we meet, which is Mondays, basically starts our new work week, our new class week. So all of your homework is due by 8 a.m. on Monday mornings. Okay. In Canvas, there are chapter videos in each module. So chapter 1, lesson 1, chapter 1, lesson 2. Those chapter videos, I really need you to watch them before you come to class. Okay. How many of you do not have your textbook yet? Whoa. Okay. Your textbook is free. Everyone should have a textbook. All you have to do is go to your ACES email. So when you log into ACES, at the very top, there's an email button. That's going to be your student email address. Okay. You need to go there and look for the bookstore. They'll send you an email. All you have to do is click that you want to get this textbook, and they'll order it. They'll have it in the library, or sorry, the bookstore, and you just go and pick it up. Okay. Everyone should have a textbook. Those videos follow the textbook. So you can read the textbook or you can just watch the videos. Okay. But the textbook is still necessary for you to have. All right. So let's do a quick activity. How are we doing on time? 25 minutes. Okay. On a piece of paper, it can be the notes page. It has the math numbers on it. On the bottom portion, you can write it on that. You can write it on the back of your yellow piece of paper for your name thing if you want to. It doesn't matter what piece of paper. This is scratch paper. Okay. I would like you to write 1 to 2 things you need to do to successfully complete this course. What is 1 to 2 things that you personally need to do to successfully complete this course? Some of y'all might put bring writing utensils. All right, front table. Okay. What else can we do to become class prepared? Watch the videos. Okay, anything else? Take notes. Okay, good. X. Say it one more time. Get ahead of traffic. I'm going to put that in develop time management skills. Cool. It's crazy. If I leave my house at 6:25, I'm good. If I leave my house at 6:35, it's an extra 20 minutes. It's crazy. All right. Front table right here. Sleep. Not in class, I'm hoping. Oh, okay. Get rest. Good. Okay. Studying. All right. Next front table. What'd y'all come up with? Okay. Nothing else to add? Okay. Good. Pay attention in class. Try to minimize your distractions, cell phones, computers. It may not be distracting to you, but it may be distracting to somebody sitting next to you. Okay. So minimize those distractions. I will print out a notes page. So every day in class, I'll have it right here in the front. You just pick it up as you come in, and you'll basically fill that out as we go through the class. Okay. So following those notes pages is really helpful. Back table. Noah, your table. What did y'all come up with? Take notes. Okay, cool. Use the textbook. I don't think y'all realize that your textbooks are free. When I was a student, I would spend anywhere between $300 to $500 a semester on textbooks. So the fact that you have free textbooks is a great resource for you. So please take advantage of that. If you need help navigating, logging into your student email address, getting your textbook, finding out how to do that, I'm available. I don't know how to do it, so I don't have the student side of the information, but you can log in and I can try to walk you through that process. All right, last table. Anything to add? Okay. Anything specific else about time management? Okay. Tutoring, ask for help. Yes. If you're not available during my office hours, I know sometimes maybe if you're in a lab class, it goes from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. Email me. We can set up an appointment. We can set up a time for us to meet outside of my office hours. The benefit of doing everything on Zoom is that I can record the session just like I record our classes. I can record the session and send it to you as a video so you can watch that tutoring over again. Okay. Um, Excellent. This is a great list. All right. So what I'm going to do is at the end of class, I'm going to upload this document into a quiz in Canvas. And then all you have to do is log onto that quiz and just type your name in the box that basically saying that you're acknowledging that these are the things you're going to do to be successful in the class. And so when you come to see me at October and be like, Mr. Uminsky, why do I have an F? I'm going to pull out this list and be like, which ones of these things did we drop the ball on? And that's okay if we do. It's not the end of the world. Okay. I have an F on my college transcript in remedial reading because I didn't take the class seriously and I thought this was not it was beneath me. The homework they were asking me to do, I was like, this is so stupid. This is high school level. Didn't do it. I have an F in remedial reading on my transcript. Okay. I have a D in biology. Thankfully, that D counted because biology was tough. And I have a D in one of my classes from grad school because I thought that it was more important for me to go to a networking event than it was to do my homework. I had to take that class over again. When I was in my master's program, a class was about $1,500 to take a class over again. Right now, in my doctoral program, it's about $2,500 to take one class over again. So, how seriously do you think I take my homework now? Very seriously. Okay. So, I'm going to save this and I will upload it to Canvas as soon as class is done. So, you. All right. Getting started the quiz we already talked about. Before we talk about money, show of hands, who wants money? I'm not going to give you money right now. But like I said, the concepts that I'm teaching in this class are going to translate directly to money in the future. Okay. But before we do that, you have two pieces of paper I need you to fill out before we leave class today. One of them you picked up here. All you need to write is your name, your signature, and your banner ID number. Okay. Now but before you do that, let everyone look up here for a second. The reason why I need these two forms from you is because anytime we go off campus for a field trip, there's going to be an option for this class for potentially two field trips. Not during our class time, but for two field trips outside of our class time that are optional. I need to fill out all this information and turn it into the college to show that I have this for you when we do travel off campus. Okay. So I'm just going to have this just in case I need it. All right. So this form that you picked up here is basically allowing the office to basically run your report to make sure that you have no disciplinary disciplinary whatever cases open on you, which hopefully none of y'all do, but otherwise you can't travel. The other one that I gave out is 2 pages. So everyone do me a favor real quick. Flip the whole thing over. Okay? You got the front and you have the back. The very back page. Go ahead and sign it. I will be the witness. If you are under 18, then you do need to make sure you have a parent or guardian sign this so you can take this and bring it back to me. But if you are over 18, I need to have this today. Okay? So just sign where it says student participant, just sign and print your name. Okay? Sign and print your name. You need another one? Okay. Here you go. All right. And then flip it back over and fill out. There's a front page that has all I need. Everyone look up here for a second. All I need, please leave the name of the trip blank. That little box, please leave that blank so that I can add that in based on the field trip we're going on. All I need is your name and your emergency contact information. That's all I need. Okay. So it's weird. It's a 4-page paper. I wanted to flip to the back to sign. That's where students always forget. Flip it back to the very, very front where you have the little box on the bottom. I need your emergency contact. Yep. Just your name and your emergency contact. That's all I need on that front page. Okay. Yes. Nope. Leave that blank because I will fill that in based on the field trip that we're going on. Oops. There we go. Yes. Of course, they're right over here. And then this other page that has the banner ID number on it, just put those 2 together and just put them in the center of the table, and I will pick them up after class is over. So I'm going to give you about 2 more minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes. It is in the morning. So it's I believe 8 to noon, I think, is the time frame for that. And we will have a bus transportation. You can park there if you want. You can drive yourself and park if you'd like. But we also will have a bus transportation from here, so you can park here on the campus, and then we'll shuttle you over to the theater and back. All right, let's do some math. So everyone has your math page that you picked up. Anybody need one before we move on? So this math page, what I'd like you to do is do these 10 problems. Okay, just do these 10 problems in the front. The asterisks, right? The little star, that is multiply. The slash is divide, division. Okay. So do those math problems. I'm going to give you, how are we doing on time? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You can use a calculator. You don't have to do it in your head. All right. So what's the answer to number 1? 9. Number 2? 13. 4. Okay. 5. 22.5. Thank you. Number 6. Say it real loud. 0.3. Thank you. It should be less than 1. 0.3. Excellent. 15 times 0.4. 6. What was it? 96. Thank you. And 12. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being like super difficult and 5 being super easy. On a scale of 1 to 5, show me how difficult were these math problems for you? On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being super difficult, 5 being super easy. Okay, so I see some 3s, some 4s, some 5s. Luckily, I don't see any 1s. Thank you. Okay, you can use your calculator. Now, I will tell you this, your calculator will never give you the wrong answer, but it may be incorrect. Like, wait a minute, Miss Minsky, well, you just said it was never getting the wrong answer. The answer that the calculator gives you is always right, but it may be incorrect. Meaning what? You didn't type it in right. The calculator will always give you the right answer based on the information that you, the user, put into it. So just because it's the answer the calculator gives you doesn't necessarily mean it's always the correct answer, but the math is always right based on the calculator, okay? So the reason why I did this exercise on first day 1, because this is a math class. This is why it's one of my favorite classes to teach, because I love math. Because in math, there's always an answer. Even if the answer is there is no answer, there's always an answer in math, okay? We can solve so many problems with math, okay? And so all we are doing in this class, we are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. That's all we're doing. Now, there are specific orders you have to do that in, but what is this first number? The first answer to number 1 is what? 9. 9 what? It's a good question, Ms. Sheminsky. I'm glad you asked that. Well, let me tell you why, what that 9 is. We don't know what that 9 means. There's this little thing called units. Units tell us what that number means. Without a unit, that number is just a number, okay? So now let's take a look real quick in our last few minutes of class. We know 36 divided by 4 is 9. If we take if we need 4 portions from 36 ounces of salad mix, how many portions do we get? 36 and 4. So now if we put our units on here, if you flip your page over, all of these word problems are on the second side of that page. So 36 ounces divided by 4-ounce portions equals 9 portions. Now that number 9 means something. How many of you absolutely love college algebra or algebra in general, right? In algebra, what are we solving for? Well, we solve for x, okay? We don't know what x is, but in this case, we know what x is. It's how many portions. So we're basically doing algebra. Sorry to break it to you. You do need to use algebra, okay? But we actually can picture a 36-ounce bag of salad mix. I'm going to weigh out 4-ounce portions. At the end of it, I'm going to have 9 portions, okay? 15 minus 13 is 2. 2 what? If we yield 13 pounds from a 15-pound case of tomatoes, how much product did we lose in preparation? So we start with 15 pounds. We have 13 pounds left over at the end, which means I lost 2 pounds. Well, why is it important to know how many pounds you lose in the preparation process? So we know how to price, good. What else? You know how much to order. If I know I'm going to lose 2 pounds by taking the core out and by maybe doing like a tomato concasse where I'm going to take that skin off, that skin weighs something, right? We put the little X on the bottom, drop it in some boiling water, the skin peels off, right? I know some culinary stuff, not a whole lot. I'm a hospitality major. Okay. But that skin, that core, all those seeds, that weighs something. We paid for it in the weight of the 15 pounds, but I'm only going to use 13 pounds to actually prepare. So all of that is really important. 13 divided by 15. What do we get? 0.86. Let me just double check that math. Okay, so we get 8.6 repeating. And so this number actually represents a percentage. So in your notes, I want you to write percent equals part over the whole. Part over the whole. Percent equals part over the whole. That is the universal formula for percentage. Anytime you want to find the percentage of anything, it's always the part number divided by the whole number. Meaning, the whole is 15 pounds is what we had started with, right? And the part is what we have left over. So 13 pounds divided by 15 pounds equals 0.86 repeating. Okay, so keep going. We're going to round up to the nearest 1 decimal. Okay, so when we do multiply, when we do percentages, we're going to go over this in more detail, don't worry. We always multiply this number by 100. Okay, so by multiplying 100, how many zeros are in 100? So we're going to move that decimal place over 2 spots. So we have 86.7, because this is going to round up to a 7. 86.7%. Percentages can have 1 decimal place. 86 and 86.7 are 2 totally different numbers. If we're talking about 13 to 15 pounds, 2 pound difference, that's okay. If we're talking about $1 million, that decimal is going to make a huge difference. So decimals, percentages have 1 decimal place. I have 2 minutes. All right. 2,000 minus 1,500. 500. We're looking for profit. We're going to go over this in the next class. The equation for profit and sales will be in that first class, okay, on Wednesday. The rest of these, let's get to this one right here. This is our last example. Number 6, 2.25 divided by 0.32 equals 7.03. Okay. So this tells us what price should we sell our entree if the cost equals 2.25 and we aim for 32% food cost. Okay. The last thing I want you to do on the very bottom of that page, I'll draw a really big triangle. Basically fill up the bottom portion of that page with a big triangle and add these 2 lines. This is the last thing we'll do. Okay. In the top portion, I want you to write the word cost. In the bottom portion, I want you to write percent sign. And I want you to write sales. Okay. Now, this horizontal line, what math function does that horizontal line look like? divide. So write a big division sign right there, just like that. Division. What is the opposite of division? Multiply. So that means this vertical line means multiply. In this question, what price should we sell? So what section, which little section are we looking for? We have the cost, we have the percentage, we're looking for the sales. What should we sell it for? We cover that up, and what's left over? Cost divided by the percentage. So this triangle tool, this is going to help you so you don't have to memorize 3 different formulas. All you have to do is memorize that cost goes on the top, percent and sales. You cover up what you're looking for, the problem of the answer you're looking for, and what's remaining is the math problem that you're going to do. Okay? If it's asking for percentage, I cover up percentage and what's left over. Cost divided by sales. Okay? So there's going to be a quiz on Wednesday where I'm going to ask you to fill out a blank triangle. Cost, percent, sales, divide, multiply. So I need you to study that for Wednesday, and I need you to watch chapters 1, lesson 1, and lesson 2 before Wednesday. All right? If you want, you can leave your, you can take your name tents, just put them right here on the table, and then leave your forms in the middle, and I will pick them up. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all on Wednesday.